All right, what's up guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, we're going to be experimenting with some OP-13 purple yellow Nico Robin. Okay, this is one of my favorite leaders, especially having Banish built into the leader's effects. I'm really big fan of that. And there's also ramp. It has yellow, which is my favorite color. It has the best part of purple, which is the ramp built in, like we were just saying. So yeah, big fan of this leader. And I think we might be able to make something work for OP-13. Maybe. Who knows? We'll have to see. Okay, so let's do this, guys. Let's get right into it. I'm going to lay out the video for you guys so you know what you're getting into. First things first, we're going to head over to the deck list and break that down and talk about it. After that, we're going to head over to the sim. We've got 2 games and then like a third bonus game, but we really just got 2 games for today's video, okay? Then after that, we're going to head back to the sim. We will recap. I will tell you guys what I think about this leader moving forward and all that good stuff. Okay, so let's do this, guys. I will have everything time-stamped in the general description, and I'll have all relevant deck lists and links and stuff like that in the comment section below. If you guys have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please do not hesitate to put those down in the comment section below, or hop on the VV Theory Discord. Link will be in the channel description. Today's video is brought to you by Nin Garden. And pre-orders are now open for 4 new playmats, including Berserk, Absolute Ruler, Chaos Crew, and Green Fury. They also carry apparel, like the Kings of Heart tee and matching pin. Plus, for this month only, take part in their Halloween Mystery Playmat sale, which comes with 10 free card sleeves with your order. And don't forget to use the code, the VV Theory, at the checkout to get 8% off on your next order. Alright, let's go ahead and break down this deck list, starting off with the leader. Nico Robin is a 5,000 power, 4 life, purple-yellow Straw Hat Crew leader with the effect Banish, and when attacking, you may trash 1 card with a trigger from your hand. Add up to 1 Dawn card from your Dawn deck and set it as rested. Okay, so now we're going to go through each card in the deck. So if you're a newer player, be sure to pause and read what each one of these cards does as I mouse over them, okay? So we're running 4 Sanji, running 4 Charlotte Katakuri, 2 Charlotte Linlin, 4 Nico Olvia, 4 Jory Bonnie, the 3 cost, 4 Jaguar D Saw, 4 of the 2K Counter Frankie, 4 Basil Hawkins, 4 Baby 5, 4 Nami, 4 Nico Robin, 4 Kuma, and 4 Gum Gum Giant. So, one thing I want to mention right away here, guys, is notice everything is set as a 4 of, other than Charlotte Linlin. This is a deck that I put together pretty quickly with just a simple concept in mind. How am I supposed to deal with the OP-13 meta? Okay, now we have to build from here, right? That's kind of my logic. Okay, so for those who are not aware of what OP-13 is going to look like, at least from what we've seen from the indications we've seen from the East, there are really 5 leaders to look out for. Emu, Ace, Roger, Blue Purple Luffy, and Green Zoro. Okay, those are the 5 leaders we have to look out for. Okay, so let's talk about how we're going to deal with each one of those. So against Green Zoro, we have some on-KO stuff in here, like with this Basil Hawkins to help with that matchup. Against Emu, we have Katakuri and plenty of life gain. And by the way, the life gain is also going to help probably into every single matchup. You know, we want to gain as much life as we can, slow our opponent down some, and all that good stuff. We also have this 5-cost Nami to help deal with anything that costs 5 and lower. And we are running, I believe it's 32 triggers in the deck, so it should not be a problem having a trigger card in our hand. First of all, for the effect of Nico Robin, and second, for the effect of Nami. So we have that for the early game to take out anything that costs 5 or less. But in particular, let me say this. You know, trying to keep that same mindset, like how am I supposed to build this to deal with the OP-13 meta? So let me break it down each leader individually. For Emu in particular, it's going to be about gaining life, and it's going to be about establishing characters like Basil Hawkins that they don't want to remove. Okay, and that also doubles over, like we were saying, for Zoro. Now, for Red Blue Ace, we have Sanji. Sanji's also just really good right now because it can tap down the 4-cost Blue Marco, so it can tap that down, or the 4-cost Gorosei guy, or Gorosei, however you say it. Let me bring up, let me just type in Elder and go to the black cards real quick. This card right here is a real nuisance in the late game against Emu because it allows them to counter out of one of your attacks for free, just blocking it, and then they get to draw a card. So having access to a character like Sanji can really help us out, right? That's going to really be able to help us out. Charlotte Katakuri as well. This is just an overall good card, right? Okay, so for against Red Blue Ace, we were saying Sanji is really good in that matchup because it can rest down the 4-cost and lower stuff. Nami can hit some of their 5-cost stuff. Some decks are still running the 5-cost blue Yamato. Let me see if I can find it. This card right here. This card is still being used a little bit here and there. I've seen it pop up, so it's good to be able to just take that card out. It's one less threat to worry about while we build out our board. Okay, and the most important thing into all of these matchups, by the way, is going to be Nico Robin attacking every single turn at a base level. You don't have to swing for 8. You don't have to swing for 9 or 10 or 11 or 12. No, just attack one time to force one card out of your opponent's hand, or they lose a life card and they don't add it to their hand because it's banish. So that's the main idea here, is we basically want to tap our Nico Robin every single turn and make it where our opponent has to discard a card, right? That's the logic here. Okay, so again, against Red Blue Ace, we have this Sanji. Charlotte Linlin's actually not that bad versus Ace, and it's also not that bad versus Green Zoro. And I think even Red Purple Roger has a few really annoying characters in there, like Scoppers Gavin, who we can just push out of the way with this card, gain a life, and now we have a 9k on the board. And of course, this card goes so well with Katakuri. It lets us attack in and then just stand our character back as active, where now they have to deal with that. Okay, what else? And then for Blue Purple Luffy, I think it's going to come down to just eating up their hand as much as possible with Nico Robin, trying to burn as much life as you can with something like a Basil Hawkins and this 6-cost Nico Robin here, and just going from there. Now, I will say this. We're going to talk about revisions at the end of the video, but I think this Nico Robin could be something better. Okay, because now we have something to ramp to. Let me explain it like this, guys. In the past, okay, let me go back to the purple and yellow cards. Okay, in the past, what we were going for was, okay, we want to go first a lot of times to start the pressure off, and that way we can ramp our Dawn straight to 6, right? And from our 6 Dawn turn, we can start burning up our opponent's life. Well, in the current format, I mean, we've got 2 different 3-life leaders to worry about in Blue Purple Luffy and Red Blue Ace, right? Or I should say in the OP-13 format that we're building towards. So those leaders don't even really care about this card, right? Because typically they might even take the first hit just so they can get in range of, like, you know, in the case of Blue Purple Luffy, Thunder Bagua. In the case of Red Blue Ace, maybe something like a Radical Beam or something. Who knows? Or even for the 10-cost Taxbeard, Edward Newgate. So this card actually is not the best out there, but it is nice to have because it does burn up a life. It is a 6k body. It is a 1k counter. It is a trigger. And it being a 6-cost character is relevant. So that way going first, we get to attack in and then slam down this Nico Robin right on our turn 3, going first or second. So it's a nice card to have, especially as just like a utility piece. But now we have Kuma. Right? This is now the priority target to slam down, I think, for this deck in OP-13, because we have to play for the late game, and the way that that's going to happen is we need to gain a little bit of life early on, or at least establish some kind of character on the board that punishes them to attack into. Like, for example, with Zoro, if Zoro taps down our Kuma, okay, if we have to let it go, we can, but we can probably defend it pretty easily, too. Notice in this deck, guys, there's only 10 bricks in this entire deck if you don't count the Gum Gum Giants, because those are meant for, you know, massive counter support. I'm only running 4 Katakuri, 4 Saul, and then 2 of the 9-cost Linlin. And then, like I said, other than the Giants, that's only 10 bricks. And like I said, this card's really not meant to be a brick at all. This is a 4K counter. So, I mean, it's one of those situations where, okay, if they want to tap down our Kuma, we can probably defend it pretty easily. And on top of that, it's gaining us a life. And if they do want to smash into it, we do get the second life. And I think Nico Robin is one of the few decks that can really capitalize on that, because we can attack even when we're going first. This is our turn 3 play. So that is really nice. We get this threat on the board. We do get to compensate with gaining a life, which gives us access to more triggers. We're running like 32 triggers in this deck. We might adjust that. I think we might want to settle around 25 to 28 triggers when everything is said and done, but the more triggers, the better. Okay, so this, you know, this is now our new turn 3 play, going first or second to just slam down Kuma, and we're off to the races, right? And then we follow up with Katakuri or even Charlotte Linlin if we choose to ramp a second time for the game. Or if we're going second, we only have to ramp 1 time, and now we get to have a turn 3 7 Dawn turn into a turn 4 9 Dawn turn. Now, if we do Sanji, if we play out the Sanji, we'll have to, you know, We'll have to get our Dawn back with our leader effect, but you guys get the idea. The main thing I think we want to do is actually go first, but when we go second, if we can take second away from someone like Emu, well, then I think that's really, really good for us. Now, one thing we might want to consider is including the 5-cost Magellan. This card it does hurt us a little bit, but think of it like this, guys. I think the most important thing for what we're doing as purple-yellow Nico Robin is just slamming down a very strong 6 Dawn turn, right? Like, we just want to slam down Kuma and say go. Well, here's the thing. With Magellan, okay, we can actually play him out almost like as a 6 Dawn turn over Kuma if we need to, if we're going against a deck like Emu. So that way we can just start beating into our opponent. And if, how do I say it? The sooner we get out Magellan, the better. That's the best way I can say this, guys. The sooner we get out the Magellan, the better, because he's starting to put pressure on our opponent. And if they KO it, now they're losing Dawn and they're falling way behind. But I will say this. I don't think Magellan's that great into most of the other stuff in the format. Like, against Green Zoro, they're not really on, like, a Dawn curve. They're not trying to get to 10 Dawn so that way they can do this really awesome play. They don't really care about that, right? So they can just, like, rest this card down, beat it up, and go from there. Blue-Purple, what's his name? Blue-Purple Luffy, he's running a lot of bottom deck now that gets around this. And even Red-Blue Ace has, of course, they have, some might be running Grav Blade, but I know the decks are running 6-cost Red Rock. So it's kind of like, do we really want to run this one card for one matchup Emu? And the answer is yes. If that's our biggest problem, we'll have to make some adjustments. But guys, I think this deck can actually compete against Emu, kind of with what you see here. We're going to see a game on the sim of that later in the video. So yeah, that's the deck list, guys. I think I covered all my bases with the different leaders to look out for. Just to recap, okay, yeah, Green Zoro, it's going to be all about gaining life and just kind of battling for the board and extending the game out, because they want to try to win. They want to get those hits in every turn and then just go for an alpha strike to finish you off in like the end of the mid game going into the late game. Well, we can actually gain a lot of life, and we have a decent blocker here. We have a trigger blocker here. We have the Katakuri blocker that we can, keep using for more value and go from there. And then we have on KOs that they don't really want to deal with, like this Basil Hawkins burning their life, and this Kuma gaining us life. So we have that going for us against Zoro. Against Blue-Purple Luffy, that's just going to be a straight-up brawl, I think, where we just want to keep on pressure with Nico Robin and get to the Katakuri and the Lin, and then, of course, gain life when we can. And then against Red-Blue Ace, we just want to try to play around their Marco, just get around them, just tap it down and go from there. This card's going to be really nice for that. And then, of course, maybe in the future we could try to include some type of event into the deck. I think there's some pretty good events that I'm not running. This is one of my absolute favorites in Nora Beam Sword. We can just, tap down multiple, we can get out of one attack and tap down another. This card is really good. Pause and read this if you don't know what it does. This card is excellent, but having access to purple, we also have access to Hell's Judgment, which looks like this. This card right here, 2 cost, or it might be called Judgment of Hell. It might be the actual technical definition, or the technical title of it or name of it. I'm not sure. But either way, Hell's Judgment is a 2-cost counter, Dawn -1, -3,000 power to 2 different characters or leaders for the turn. So against Zoro, that's actually very, very strong. And even against Emu, when they start to go super wide on the board, if you just leave 2 Dawn active, you're going to be able to use Hell's Judgment to just wreck their entire board. Start making their attacking units much smaller. So, it's an option. It's a possibility. What else? Oh, I was also going to say there's another card too. I think it's called Top Knot. Where is that card at? Here we go. Top Knot is a 2-cost event. You do have to Dawn -2 to use it, but the trigger activates the card's main effect. But it allows you to return up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 4 or less to the bottom of the owner's deck. That's actually kind of good, guys. That's actually pretty good. Early on against Emu, you can actually use it just to mess up their, their potential trash if they only had one of a certain card. If you bottom deck it before they get to 7 cards, which, I know they get to 7 cards in their trash very quickly, but if you can bottom deck one of their cards before they get to 7 cards in their trash, it could put that at the bottom of their deck, and they might not see another one for a while, and it could mess up their 10 Dawn play. So that's something to look out for. But against Red-Blue Ace, this card's absolutely incredible because you can bottom deck their Marcos. And remember, guys, the way that Red-Blue Ace works, let me get that on the board real quick. the way that red blue ace works is Dawn ×1 once per turn. When you receive damage or your character with 6,000 base power or with 6,000 base power or more is KO'd, you draw a card. So if you bottom deck their card or push it to life with something like Lin Lin or just rest it down, it's not doing anything that they want it to do, right? So that's kind of the idea with against Port-Ghast Ace, and with Top Knot that could really mess him up. But okay, yeah, that's enough yapping, guys. We'll talk more about this deck as we wrap up at the end of the video. So let's do it, guys. Let's do this. Let's go over to the sim and check out what this deck can do. All right, first game up we have against Red Purple Roger. Let's get the volume off. Let's get the speed on 2x, and here we go. Okay, Red Purple Roger. Now, I think we go first in almost every game today, but I think we want to go first in every game if we can, but I think Roger might have wanted to go first. Emu is going to want to go second. Our next game is against Emu, and our third game is like a bonus game. You'll see why, is against Red Blue Ace. That one ends a bit abruptly, unfortunately. Okay, so right here, we're just going to swing in for 8. We're going to trash a card, and we're going to ramp a life here. Or ramp a Dawn, rather, excuse me. That's going to burn up their life. They're down to 4 life. They did not get to draw that card because we have Banish. They attack in. Oh, this is something I forgot to talk about, guys, when we were doing the deck list breakdown. We have so much card draw in this deck through triggers and through Gum Gum Giant and effects like that. Okay, so we just got a draw 3, trash 2 trigger from Nico Olvium. We're going to smash in for 5. They have to give us a card. We play out Nico Robin. We burn their life up there. They play out a Scopper's Gabbin, and now they're going to be able to swing in for 6 here. They're going to be able to swing in for 6 twice, actually, because Gavin's going to allow them to ramp a Dawn, and now they're going to swing for 6 and 6 with a bullet in the leader. So we're going to take this first hit because we're going to get out of the next one. We get another Nico Olvia trigger. We're going to be able to do a draw 3, trash 2, and then we're going to 2k counter out of that next attack. Okay, perfect. Now we get to attack into characters on the board where they still don't get to draw any cards. Okay, now we're going to be able to play out the Katakuri. We're going to swing for 5 first with our leader. Attack in for 5. This is going to burn up a card from their hand. Play out the Katakuri. We'll ramp a Dawn. Whatever, it doesn't matter. We'll be on 10 Dawn next turn anyway. They play out a Edward Newgate. They're going to swing for 8 or 7 into 6. I really wanted to block this. However, that's a 10,000 power attack coming in, and I literally can't save my Katakuri here. So I'm going to let the card go. That was unfortunate. We get a Nami trigger there, but we can't really use that. Okay, here we go. So now they're down to 5 cards in hand, and they have a 9,000 power leader this turn. So we're going to direct all of our attacks into this Scopper's Gaben. Okay, here we go. Play out the 9. Well, we only had the 1 attack, unfortunately, because we're going to play out the 9-cost Lin Lin. Dawn -1. We're going to trash a card, probably the Nami here, and then we're going to gain a life and push that Scoppers to the bottom of their deck. Or to the bottom of their life, rather, excuse me. Okay, here we go. Let's see what they choose to do here. Now that we have the Katakuri and Lin Lin combo on the board, they have pretty much no way of dealing with them. Unless I block very greedily here, yep, which I do, of course. They're going to swing 11 into 8. Okay, perfect. We'll just Gum Gum Giant. We're going to Dawn -1, or Dawn -2, use the effect of Gum Gum Giant to trash our Kuma and draw some cards. They attack 9 into 8. We did get a 2k counter, which is nice, and then we're going to get out of that very easily. Well, now we're just going to go for the board. We're not going to give them any cards. So the entire game plan with this deck is to deprive your opponent of hand size. Okay, we're going to go 11 into 9. Now, my opponent makes a mistake here. They use the 1-cost 3k counter. That can only be used on leaders, guys. Make sure you're aware of that. Okay, make sure you know. And now I'm going to 12 into 10. And they get out of it, guys. I could not believe they got out of that, but that's okay. We have 2 life. We're doing fine. They just top-decked an Edward Newgate. Seems good. That seems really, really good. Okay, so they attack in. We're going to take that. I'm basically daring him to attack in. Well, okay, right now I'm determining if I want to use this trigger or not. We play out a Jaguar Desaw from the trigger. It can play out a 3-cost or lower yellow character. Okay, so here we go. They're a 9,000 power leader, guys. Now, we can't just fully deprive them of the cards in their hand. We have to keep some pressure on at this point, right? Now, we have a few options, actually. Pause, let's talk about this for a second. We play out the Nico Robin here, and then we go, I think we're going to pass the turn, because we're going to be able to sit on 2 Gum Gum Giants here. We might swing in with a Lin Lin, I can't remember. But I think we probably should have just attached 4 to our leader, and just smash in for 9. Just smash in for 9. It burns up a life card here, and then pass the turn back. Because, yes, we would not be able to use our Gum Gum Giant. However, if we need to, we'd be able to fully counter out of this and then go for lethal next turn, if we absolutely had to. Okay, let's see what our opponent decides to do here. Or, excuse me, we still have the rest of our turn. I think we're going to swing for 9 with the Charlotte Linlin, and here we go. Man, getting that 9-cost Newgate, that was very nice for my opponent, I have to say. Okay, so now I think we're going to attach 1 Dawn to the Katakuri. We're going to swing in for 9 more. He chooses to take it. Okay, maybe he has a brick in his hand. I don't know, though. At the end of our turn, though, we're standing up our blocker, Katakuri, and our 9-cost Linlin. We have 2 blockers. We have a life. We have 2 Gum Gum Giants in hand. They play out a third. They play out a third Edward Newgate. This game would not have been close, I think, if they'd drawn anything else there, guys. Even like a some card that has Rush, it wouldn't matter, because I think we could just block, take a life, Gum Gum Giant, and go for lethal. But getting these Edward Newgates on the board, this is an absolute headache for us. Okay, so swing for 9. We're going to 1K counter out. They're going to swing in for 10. We are actually going to take this one, I believe. Yep, we're going to take this one. We get a draw 2, trash 1 trigger. They're going to swing for 10. I think we just give them the Jaguar D-Saw here. Okay, now our turn. Draw the card for the turn. Get our Dawn for the turn. Okay, pause. Guys, time to calculate lethal. Because we're not surviving another turn. I mean, I think maybe it is possible, actually. Let's think about it for a second. Assuming our opponent does not have a Goldie Roger in their hand, right? Assuming our opponent does not have a Goldie Roger, we are going to be able to play out a Kuma to gain a life, play out a Jaguar D-Saw to get a blocker, and then we have 1 Dawn left for a Gum Gum Giant. So maybe we could actually survive 1 more turn. That is an option. Like I said, we could potentially survive 1 more turn here. However, do we want to take that risk? And that goes through my head in this play. I'm going to unpause it in a minute. And unfortunately, our opponent gets a little bit impatient with us. Because remember, my opponent's leader is a 9,000 power leader. So here's what's going through my head. Either A, I have to go for lethal. If I do, how can I do that? Or B, I need to play defensively and hope he doesn't have a Goldie Roger. Or, there's some in-between ability where we can just go for the board, right? And let's let it play out, and let's see what happens here, guys. Unfortunately, like I said, my opponent doesn't give me the full time to finish out my turn, but I want to tell you guys what I would do. Because notice this. They have 2 cards in hand. They have 1 life, and they have, 1 Dawn active. The 1 Dawn active messes everything up, right? Now, pause. I was not done with my turn. Here's how my turn was going to go, though. This is how it should have gone, at least. Swing for 9 with Linlin. What does he want to give me? He has to counter out. He has no choice. If I swing for 9 and he takes it, I'm swinging for 18 with my Katakuri. So even if he has a 1-cost 4K, he's at 9, right? He'll go to 13, and then plus 4 would put him at 17, and I'm swinging in for 18. So again, he absolutely has to get out of this Charlotte Linlin attack, right? So that is going to be a 2K counter from his hand, okay? Then after that, I'm going to attach 1 Dawn to my Katakuri. I'm swinging for 9 more. Again, he absolutely must take or counter. He has to. If he doesn't, okay, so say he got out of the first attack with Linlin, right? And now he only has 1 card in hand. If he takes this next one, he only has 2 cards in hand, so I can swing for 9 plus 6 is 15 with Nico Robin. So even if he has a Rad Beam in hand, he would go from 9 up to 14. Or hang on, I didn't do the math right. 9 plus 4 is 13, plus 2, if he has a 2K counter, puts him at 15. So again, he absolutely has to get out of this attack, right? And I've only invested 1 Dawn so far. 2 9K attacks, he has no more cards in his hand. Okay, well, guess what? That means we swing for 4 with Nico Robin. It goes through because he has no cards left in his hand, and then we swing in for the rest on our, Let me specify, there's 2 Nico Robins on the board. We attach 4 Dawn to our leader to swing for 9. It burns up his last life. And now we still have 5 Dawn left. We swing in for 11 with our Nico Robin character. So we had calculated lethal on the board. However, I was trying to come to that, that math. Okay, but my opponent just left a little bit early. Now, even if they had saved their... Some people might be thinking like, yeah, but this guy unfortunately used up his 1-cost 3K counter earlier in the game. That's true. That is true. However, that changes everything. Because if he has 3 cards in hand, I no longer go for lethal. And now we have to play based on the idea of, okay, well, I just hope my opponent doesn't have a Goldie Roger, right? So now what we end up doing is we play like this. We go, okay, we swing for 9 with our Katakuri. I think he still gets out of that, by the way. Right. Or, excuse me, we swing for 9 with our Charlotte Linlin at the opponent's leader. I'm pretty sure he's going to get out of that. And then we end up swinging for 9 more with Katakuri. Okay. I think he would get out. I don't know. It's hard to say, right? Otherwise, you know, like I said, I have no idea what my opponent would do in this situation. But what we would have to do afterwards is probably play out the Jaguar D Sol and kind of just hope for the best, right? So that would be 3, and we'd have 1 Dawn for Gum Gum Giant. So we only need 4 Dawn. So we would have 6 Dawn to mess around with to try to eat up his board a little bit and establish Jaguar D Sol. Another option is we could play out the Kuma. I think I mentioned this earlier in this example. We could play out the Kuma, gain a life, play out the Jaguar D Sol, and just go next turn, right? That would allow us to at least hang on, because think of it like this. We would, first of all, we'd have a life. So even if they have Goldie Roger, maybe we could try to get around it. Who knows? But whatever the case, if we had that option, we would be able to go like this. Okay, or if we take that play line, here's how it would go. We play out the Kuma, gain a life, play out the Jaguar D Sol, and now we're sitting on 1 life, 2 blockers, and a Gum Gum Giant. They only have 4 attacks with their leader in the 3 Edward Newgates. So we only have to get out of 1 of those attacks, and we can survive and go next. You know, go for next turn, go for lethal. So yeah, we had a few options, and that is one thing I really like about this deck here, is that I feel like I have a lot of options available to me at all times, and that can allow you to outplay your opponent. Okay, good game to my opponent there. Let's move on to the next one. We got a game versus Emu. Okay, so red, purple Roger, and then black Emu. Buckle up for this one, guys. This one's kind of a banger here. Volume's off, speed's on 2x. Here we go. So we are going first in everything. People keep asking me, or a few people, I shouldn't say people keep asking me. A few people have said, like, you know, I want to see you go against Emu going second, or you know, them going second, us going first. Well, Nico Robin doesn't mind that, right? We would still take second away from them, by the way, if we could. But in this situation here, okay, we're going to be going first. We're going to swing for 5 in. This is going to burn a card from hand or from life. They take a card from life. We'll take that. And we're going to play out this Jaguar D Sol. Why did I do that? I need a 1k counter in my hand for this turn, assuming he swings for 5 with his leader. Otherwise, he swings for 6. I'm trying to be as efficient as I can here. Perfect. He swings for 5. We're going to use a 1k counter to get out of that. Okay, here we go. So we're going to swing in for 5 more. Let's see if he uses a 1-cost event here. Instead, he blocks and draws a card. That's pretty good, guys. That's pretty good. We're going to play out a Kuma. We're up to 5 life. We trash a 2k counter, and now we have a 7k on the board and a 5k. We didn't swing with Jaguar D Sol, though, did we, guys? We're not going to swing with Jaguar D Sol. It's not going to happen. We're not swinging with Jaguar D Sol. We're not giving them any cards this turn, or this game, if we can help it. They play out a Venus, setting up for next turn. We're going to swing for 5 with Banish. They have to respect this or lose a life. Okay, they give us a 2k counter. We're going to play out the Katakuri, pass the turn. We're not giving them any cards from their life, guys. Do not give them any cards from their life. Okay, so here we go. They're going to pay 3 and activate the stage. They're going to cheat out a 8-cost or lower character, pretty much, playing out the Jupiter and then paying 4 to play out the Saturn. They're fixing their hand. I'm noticing they have 1 10-cost character in their trash already from earlier searches or whatever. They swing in for 6. We're going to block. Does he want to attack into my guy? Probably does. 7 into 6 is what it will be. If he decides to do the -2,000 on the Katakuri, I'm just going to block. That's fine. I could have 2k counted out. We want to keep our hand size good. Okay, now here we go. We're swinging 8 into 5. He gives me a blocker. Okay, well now we're going to do 7. Actually, we're going to do 9 into 5 because I don't have a good follow-up. So 9 into 5 and now 9 into face, guys. Yep, 9 into face here. They're probably going to have to take this. There we go. We burned up another life card. They did not get to their hand, and that was a 2k counter. The first one was an event searcher. Okay, so we have a blocker down now. They play out a Venus Juro for 6, and it looks like they're going to swing for 7 into 6. Pause. Some people might be wondering, when should you defend the board versus when should you just let a card go? This is a situation where you should actually defend the board, because if I let this character Kuma go, he's a 7,000 power character. That's a lot easier for me to counter out of than 5 on my leader. So understand how this turn is probably going to go. They have 4 Dawn left. They did not use their stage yet. So they're probably going to play out the 10-cost character for 3, pay 1 to fill out their board, and keep attacking. So in this specific situation, I am going to defend this Kuma to some extent, right? I have 2k counters to use in my hand, so I'm going to counter out of 1 attack, probably counter out of another, and then let it go, gain a life, and just ignore the rest of the attacks for the turn. Maybe even cash in on a Gum Gum Giant, depending on what I draw from my life. Okay, so 7 into 7, sure. Here's a one-card answer to what you just did. 7 more into 7, here's another one-card answer. Now 7 into there, and we're going to take it, and we gain a life, okay? So we just, instead of having to defend 3, or I should say 2 7K attacks into our leader, we defended some into our character to help us out there. Okay, so they use the 10-cost Elder, and they do not have Mars in their trash, the 6-cost blocker. That's very good for us, okay? That is very, very good for us. And they have 2 10-costs in their trash now. They might be getting low in their hand size. Okay, or they might not have any in their hand, I should say. Okay, now they swing it for 7, and we can cash in on this if we want to. We could also take it and go down to 3 life. That would not be the worst-case scenario here. I'm doing a little bit of math in my head. I think I should take it. That's the right call in my opinion. I think taking it is the right call. Okay, nice. So it's back to us now, and we're going to be able to attack in to this Venus, okay? Now, I think I do things in a little bit out of order here. I attack for 9 into it. He has the blocker, but I'm hoping he uses the blocker. Nice. So now we can go 9 more into... Well, it depends, actually. We might want to play out this Katakuri. Or, I mean, excuse me, not the Katakuri. We might want to play out the 6-cost Kuma in this situation and gain a life. Okay, doing a little bit of math here, guys. Trying to figure it out. Yep, 7 into 5. We're going to play a 7 into 5 here. He does defend it with a 2K and a 1K. Okay, there's Mars. His next 10-cost character, he'll be able to get back the Mars. Okay, so now we go and play out the Kuma. We gain a life, trashing the Katakuri. That was a brick in our hand anyway. We're back up to 4 life. We have a good blocker on the board. And then, okay, they're trying to bait me into using my blocker. Not happening. Not happening. I know. Hey, I know what this guy's trying to do here. Now, we might have to soon, because he does have 2 more attacks coming in. I'm trying to see what's in their trash. They have 2 cards in their life. I'm hoping a 10-cost is in their life somewhere, and then you know, hopefully there's no more in their hand. They're going to swing for 6, and unfortunately we don't have any 2K counters. But guys, I'm fine just going 1K here to make it seem like I have no counter power. That was a bait, guys. I could have easily blocked that and then saved my my Katakuri with a Gum Gum Giant. We're trying to bait him into overextending here so I can take full advantage of this board, okay? We want to... Okay, he's out of 10-cost characters in his hand. That's really good for us, but how are we going to get around this? They have a big board now. Okay, so there we go. We use a Gum Gum Giant to get out of this 9K attack because there's only a 6... because our Katakuri was still a 6,000 power character. Okay, we draw 2 cards from the effect of Gum Gum Giant, and here we go, guys. I have Sanji. We have this card in the deck for this matchup, okay? So we're going to start bashing into this guy's board is ours now, right? We are going for this board. Okay, so the most important character, pause. Okay, pause. Who is the most important character to take out in this specific situation, guys? There is a card. There is a most important character to take out in this situation. Okay, pause if you need any extra time on it. The Jupiter. The Jupiter makes all of his characters into 7,000 power characters on his turn. So if we can take that card out now while it's just a 5K, that's going to be really good for us. Okay, so here we go. Going to swing for 7 into 5. Now remember, the 1-cost 3K cannot help out characters, right? So 7 into 5 more. They let that one go. And then the next most important card is, of course, Venus, the rush character. 7 more into 5. Guys, we just ate up the whole board. The whole board's gone. We're passing the turn. We're standing up our Katakuri. Okay, we got a blocker. We have 2 life. We're pretending like we have a Gum Gum Giant in hand when we don't. Okay, they're going to go for 5. We're going to give them a 2K counter. So, guys, understand what's going on here. We are probably going for lethal next turn, right? Our entire game plan here is to probably just go for lethal next turn. Okay, we did a draw 3, trash 2, I think is what that was from a Nico Olvia trigger, I believe. Okay, and here we go. They play out, they got another 5 Elders. This is their 3rd one, by the way, because one of them was already in the trash. So there's only 1 left in their deck or in their life somewhere. They're going to swing for 5. They don't have a Jupiter on the board. They're playing very aggressively with Emu, guys. They're playing very aggressively, and it's kind of working. I'm not going to lie. We're going to go ahead and take that hit. He's going to go ahead and use the 5 Elders. He's going to pull the trigger here on the 5 Elders. And here we go, guys. Here we go. They're gonna attack in one more time with Venus Juro. We're just gonna be able to get out of that with Gum Gum Giant, trashing our Gum Gum Giant. Pause. Why are we gonna? Guys, hang on. Watch. Let me let them attack real quick. Yep. 7 into. It doesn't matter where they swing. We're literally blocking out of it. Okay. Yep. So here we go. Pause. I'm gonna use Gum Gum Giant. Which card are you trashing from your hand in this situation? We're trashing the Gum Gum Giant because we need the Nico Olvia as a 1-cost plus 3K to our leader. We are going all in next turn. We're going all in, okay? Here we go. So they're going to swing in. I'm going to Gum Giant, trashing a Gum Giant to go +2, or to draw 2 and get out of that attack. And here we go. Play out the Sanji, rest down the 4-cost blocker, Mercury or Mercury. And now, Nico Olvia, we're going to swing with our leader first, so they can't draw any extra card here. We're just going to swing for 8, unfortunately. I want to keep my Dawn available here. If they can counter out of this, it would take 2 cards out of their hand, and I know what one of the cards was that they drew from that Saturn. I think it was a 10-cost Elder or something like that. I can't remember. Okay, 7, they get out of the first one. This 7's going to get blocked. This 7's going through for sure because they have 1 card in hand, and now we're swinging in for 9. Leaving a Dawn active just to show. Yeah, it was a 5 Elders. They did show that when they did the top 5 search from the Saturn. Okay, so that's how I was able to know that information. So in my mind, I was thinking, okay, hopefully he can't get out of this first attack. Either way, look at what was in his hand there. He only had Stussy. Actually, I think one of those cards might have, both of those cards might have been from his life. Let me see if I can go back and see if it showed what he got from the Saturn. Hang on, we got to go back one more turn here. There we go. Now let's see. I'll try to pay attention to the left or to the right side of the screen when he plays out this, when he uses the 10-cost effect, because I did look to see what he drew with the Saturn, because that was very important for me, right? Okay. Here we go. Just waiting for them to do their search. They drew a card, and it was a 10 Elders, actually. It was a 10 Elders. So very nice. We'll take it, and that's how we were able to get out of that one. Okay, good stuff, guys. That was a lot of fun. And then we swing in for here. GG. Great game to my opponent there. That was a tough matchup. This is not going to be an easy matchup, but if we can just keep burning up their life, do not give them any life cards from your characters on the board until you have to go for lethal like we did at the end there. Save your Nico Olvias when you can to get easy 8k and 9k attacks into your opponent with Banish from your leader. You know, that is a good option. And just in general, save your Sanjis and your Nico Olvias when you can to just try to sneak lethal, because it's our best bet. It's our best bet, guys. If we didn't have every one of those attacks and the way to tap down that Mercury with the Sanji, we don't win this game. Okay, good game to my opponent. That was a tough one. We got one more game. This is like a bonus game versus Red Blue Ace, but unfortunately it ends a little bit abruptly. My opponent doesn't like what's happening to him. My opponent doesn't really enjoy the way that the game's going, so they decide to kind of jump out or back out. So they didn't get to go first. Red Blue Ace got to go first here. They play out the Otama. They're going to fix their hand a little bit. They play out another Otama. They're going to fix their hand. Okay, they trash the Jozu and a Garp. And now we're going to go, okay, well, I'm just going to swing in for 8 with Banish. We're going to trash a card from our hand. That way we can gain a life, or excuse me, ramp a Dawn. I think we should have trashed the Nico Robin, though. That was a bit of a play mistake. My logic was I have a Nico Robin and a Jory Bonnie if I get rid of this other Jory Bonnie. I have 2 Jory Bonnies, so I'll just get rid of one of them. That was my logic. Okay, they're doing some searching like crazy here. There's the 5-cost Yamato we saw in their hand. They get another Garp out. They're just doing insane searching. We're gonna they swing in for 7. We take the hit. It's a Nami trigger. We don't care about any of these characters on the board at all, so we're not going to use that Nami trigger here. Okay, so we play out the Bonnie. We're just going to swing 6 and 8 and 6. I don't care if we don't get to draw 2 trash one from that Bonnie's effect. We can do that later, guys. Keep the pressure on. They cash in on the Ezo. They cash in on the Ezo. They fix their hand. Now they're going to have to use probably leader effect and a 1k. Okay, 2k and a 1k. They're down to 5 cards in hand, guys. This is against Ace, against Red Blue Ace, guys. They're going to swing for 7. We're going to get a draw 2 trash 1 trigger from the Basil Hawkins. And now we get rid of that Nico Robin. And here we go, guys. You know what? I'm just going for this guy. We're going right at this guy because we have next turn, we can play out a Sanji, or if we attack in here with our Robin and trash a card, which we were about to trash the other 6-cost Robin we had in our hand. We were actually about to just trash a card to get back up to, I think we were at 7 Dawn here. We were at 8, and then we went down to 7 with the Sanji effect. We were about to attack in with our leader to go back up to 8, so we could be on 10 Dawn on the following turn for any kind of, anything we might needed to do there. But we were going to go 6 into our opponent's leader. They were probably going to have to trash one of these cards from their hand because, guys, they were only on, let me see, 1, 2 plus 4. They were on 6, right? They were about to be on their 8 Dawn turn. They don't have a 6-cost, the 8-cost event to cheat out one of these Edward Newgates. So these cards were going to be dead for one more turn. And if he hits us with a pudding next turn, we don't really care, do we? Because I was about to trash a card from my hand, the Nico Robin, to be able to ramp a Dawn back. We were only going to have 6 cards in hand. So if he wanted to hit us with a pudding, Sure, that would have been unfortunate, but that was something we were going to, be fine living with, right? We would have been okay with that. And next turn, if that Marco stayed active, if he tried to block again with the Marco, guess what? Playing out Sanji, going from there, right? So really good stuff. Very fun game there. Good game to my opponent. They left a little early because they were still in this game. They still could have won this game, but we were starting to kind of pull away with it, and seeing what their hand was, they had no good play next turn, right? Their next turn play was going to be something along the lines of like, I don't know. I mean, they're drawing into an Uda. I'm attacking for 6. So let's say they just trash a Gum Gum Giant from their hand, or the 10-cost Edward Newgate, maybe in the 9-cost Edward Newgate with a leader effect and get out of my attack, or use the Uda, whatever. We're not attacking with Sanji. We're not attacking with Sanji at all, guys. We were using the on-play effect just to rest the Marco and swing past it, because next turn we could try to go for lethal, right? So that was the idea there, or we could play out for another turn, playing out the 9-cost Linlin, bouncing the Marco to life, gaining a life, all that good stuff. We had them in a very good position there. Okay, good game to my opponent. Let's go ahead and check out the deck list one more time before we wrap this video up. I think there's some potential here, guys. I'm not saying it's like the absolute, the best dark horse deck in the entire OP-13 format, but I think there's some room for improvements for sure. Like I was saying in the very beginning in the deck breakdown, these are all 4-ups. We can move cards around. We can make some adjustments. We can, this Sanji, I think, is going to be very good into OP-13, being able to rest down a 6 or less. That's a big deal, right? That can even rest down the 6-cost blocker of, what's his name, of Emu if we need to, right? If they had to do like some kind of desperation play to play out a 6-cost blocker, we can still tap that down with Sanji. This seems like it's going to be a great answer into Emu, and extending out the game with something like this 6-cost Kuma. This is actually very nice in this deck because we have so many. We have so many triggers built in because we have to for our leader effect. And since we have so many triggers built in, okay, well, why not run this Nami? Maybe we don't need 4 of this Nami. This is a card we could probably drop down to a 2 or a 3 of and go from there. Now, one thing I forgot to mention when we were going over the deck list breakdown is notice how much card draw this deck actually has, right? Especially from the trigger area. Nico Olvia, trigger, if your leader is Nico Robin, draw 3, trash 2. Juribani, draw 2, trash 1. Jaguar Gisal comes into play. Frankie can do a draw 1 cycle. Basil Hawkins, draw 2, trash 1. Baby 5, draw 2. Nami can technically cycle if your hand is small enough. Read that if you don't know what it does. And then Nico Robin can play stuff out. And then, of course, Gum Gum Giant has trash 1, draw 2 built into it. And then Juribani, if this hits the board, has draw 2, trash 1 whenever you take your opponent's life cards, right? So and that's once per turn, but still. We have a lot of card draw in here, guys. So if you're thinking like, this deck's not really running any searchers, well, no, it's not. You're right. It's technically not running any searchers, but what searcher are you going to be running that can search up your Katakuris, your 9-lins, your Kumas, and your Gum Gum Giants, and potentially even Sanjis? Like, it's just not really an option in this deck. So I think we have to kind of rely on the trigger draw card effects and then Gum Gum Giant and maybe even Joribani to just kind of cycle through our deck. And we also have other ways to, like, pseudo cycle where we can play out Kuma, trashing a brick from our hand to gain a life. Charlotte Linlin, trashing a brick from our hand to gain a life, right? So we do have a lot of really cool options there, and anytime we have triggers in hand and we're just trying to get our hand size down to play around something like a pudding, okay, well, we can just ramp an extra time this game. We have that option. So this is it, guys. This is what I'm working on currently. Notice I don't think there's a single OP-13 card in this entire list, and if you look at purple and yellow for OP-13, that was with all the Roger stuff. The only thing that I think I would even consider running for this list is maybe Divine Departure. The other option, of course, would be like this Rayleigh. But think about it like this, guys. This card is really good, but our Sanji might be even better, right? Our Sanji might just be a little bit better. Because now, yes, this is an 8-cost 9K, and Sanji is only a 7-cost 7K. So this Rayleigh is a much bigger character. However, and Rayleigh does have rush no matter what. There's no on-play needed. So there might be some consideration for Rayleigh. However, if you have any given Dawn cards, rest up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 5 or less. Then at the end of this turn, add up to 1 Dawn card from your Dawn deck and set it as active. We don't really care too much about that because Sanji hits a 6 or less, right? So I think the Sanji is just better, and it has a 1K counter built into it. So as much as I love Rayleigh as a character, and I think this card is incredible, I don't think there's really much we can even use from OP-13 for purple other than maybe Divine Departure. This card's actually excellent, guys. So notice what it does. It's a zero cost 3K. It's a zero cost 3K event, where you have to counter, trash a card from your hand. 3K, you give plus 3,000 power during this battle to a leader or a character. So this card's excellent, and then it would have already been good like that, right? Because we know the zero cost 3Ks but I will say this. There's a lot of zero cost 3Ks for us to consider in purple and yellow, because Gum Gum Jet Gatling, I believe it is. Let me bring that up real quick. Hopefully this brings it up. It does. This has a way to trigger and ramp Dawn as active. And then this Divine Departure, this has the ability to rest 5 of your Dawn, and if you have any given Dawn cards, give up to one of your opponent's characters minus 8,000 power during this turn. So that's really good as well. And then, of course, for yellow, we have You're the One Who Should Disappear. So we have some really insanely powerful zero-cost 3Ks to consider in the future. Now, another card I was thinking about was this Ace, because this does kind of complete our curve, right, where we can go, all right, Kuma into Katakuri, and instead of going into 9-lin, we could technically go into 10-cost Ace. However, 9-lin might just be better. I'm not going to lie, because it bounces a 6, 6 being the magic number right now, being able to hit, I think, well, really anything 5 and under is like the real good spot to hit, but hitting a 6, well, now we're hitting like a Jozu, now we're hitting like any kind of, there's a lot of decent 6-cost characters in the game. Being able to hit those, like Scoppers, like we did in the game versus Red Purple Roger, that was massive. That gave us the time we needed to set up, and it gains a life, and it's a 9K that we can restand with the Katakuri. I'm just saying it's kind of hard to overlook that, right? It's kind of hard to justify running this 10-cost Ace, because we're trying to gain life now with this deck, right? That's why we're running this Kuma, and of course why we're running 9-lin as well. We're trying to gain life, so how often are we even going to have Rush available on this character? Well, now it's just a 10-cost 10K that gains a life, which is not bad, but why not, instead of playing out a 10-cost 10K that gains a life, why not play out a 9-cost 9K that gains a life and removes the character from your opponent's side of the board, and later in the game can stand up if you have Katakuri on the board, right? So you can protect your own characters. I don't know. It kind of seems like, as much as I like this Ace, and I think the art on this card is just so incredible, it's like, this is one of those cards I want to run it just because the art looks so good. But I can't. I can't justify it in my mind, guys. I can't justify it. All right, I'm just kind of yapping at this point, guys. There might be some room for 1 or 2 of these, and if that's the case, maybe we can fit in some type of Big Mom Pirates type of searching going on here. And let me see something. This is a 4 Emperors card here. It's too bad we don't have any good 4 Emperors type of search. Let me see something real quick for events. I don't think this card does, but I just want to check real quick. There was a 1-cost Searcher that came out a long time ago. Not this one. This one. Okay, it's called We're Going to Claim the One Piece if your leader has the Animal Kingdom Pirates or Big Mom Pirates type. Okay, we can't run it anyway, but it has look at 5 cards from the top of your deck, reveal to one AKP or BMP type card other than this card and add it to your hand. Okay, so it couldn't search up 4 Emperors anyway, so never mind, it didn't matter. But that would have been kind of cool if we could have made like a 4 Emperor style deck, because this Lin is also 4 Emperors. Actually, no, it's not. This one's former Rocks Pirates. I think I was just thinking of the 10 cost. Let me bring that back up. Yeah, sorry guys, that is not correct at all. Yeah, I know this 10 cost is 4 Emperors, and so is this Kaido, and so is this Kaido and Lin. But apparently that 9 cost is not. Oh, it doesn't matter. I don't know why I'm even talking about it. There is no 4 Emperors Searcher right now currently in the game. So either way. Well, that's all I got for you guys today. Tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. Have you guys been trying out Purple, Yellow, Nico, Robin in OP-13? How has your testing been? Guys, this was one of those decks that I kind of put a few games in on the sim and got what we got today, where I was like, man, this leader's kind of decent right now. And if we build it to specifically cater to beating OP-13, we might have something on our hands here. We might have something going on here. All right, I'm done. Hope y'all enjoyed. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me get the outro on here. Guys, if you are liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, viewing my stuff, using my TCG Player affiliate link, if you're donating through Patreon or PayPal, if you're a Playmat supporter, a YouTube member, or part of the Discord community, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate each and every one of you. All right, hope y'all enjoyed. Until next time, peace.